Chapter 31 Redemption and Eternal Salvation. The correction of mistaken concepts about redemption. Many men have accepted the idea that all the tears of this world have been caused by the sins of its first inhabitants, and in their clumsiness in interpreting the parable have come to say that Christ came to wash away the stain with his blood. If this affirmation were true, why, in spite of that already consummated sacrifice, would men continue to sin and to suffer? Jesus came to earth to teach men the road to perfection, a road he pointed out with his life, his words, and his deeds. All will reach the goal according to the fulfillment of your mission. For that purpose, I have come to deliver my teachings, which are inexhaustible, in order for you to ascend the ladder of your evolution. It is not my blood that will save you, but my light within your spirit, which will redeem you. I will be given a new cross in this third era. It will not be visible to mortal eyes, but from its height I will send my message of love to humanity. And my blood, which is the essence of my word, will be converted into light for the Spirit. Those who judged me in that era, today repented, give light with their spirits to the heart of humanity as restitution for their faults. Before my doctrine triumphs over the evilness of men, it must be flogged and mocked, just as Christ suffered on the cross. My light must emerge from every wound to illuminate the darkness of this world that lacks love. My invisible blood must also spread over humanity to once again show it the path of its redemption. I tell you once again that in me all humanity will be saved. That blood shed at Calvary is life for the Spirit, but it is not in the blood itself, which fell to the dust of the earth, but rather the divine love that is represented by it. Now when I speak to you of my blood, you know what meaning it holds. Many men have spilled their blood in the service of the Lord and for love of their brothers, but that has not represented the divine blood, only spiritual, only human. The blood of Jesus represents divine love because it bore no stain. In the Master there was never any sin, and of his blood he gave even the last drop to make you comprehend that God is everything for his creatures, that for them he gives himself completely, because he loves them infinitely. If the dust of the earth drank that liquid that sustained life in the body of the Master, it was so that you would understand that my doctrine would fertilize the lives of men with the divine watering of its love, its wisdom, and its justice. The world, incredulous and skeptical of the words and examples of the Master, disputes my teaching, saying that Jesus shed his blood to save mankind from sin, but that in spite of it, the world has not been saved. It sins more every day in spite of being more evolved. Where then is the power of that blood of redemption? Men ask. While those who should be teaching the true concepts of my doctrine do not know how to satisfy the questions of those hungry for light and thirsty to know the truth, I tell you, in this era, the questions of those who do not know have a better basis and sense than the answers and explanations given to them by those who say they know the truth. I have come again to speak to you, and here you have my words for those who think that blood achieved the salvation of the sinners before the divine justice, that it saved all who were lost and condemned to torment. I tell you, if the Father, who knows all, had believed that humanity were not going to understand and make use of all the words and works that Jesus gave to them, truly he would never have sent him. For the Creator has never done anything unnecessary, nothing that is not destined to give fruit. And if he sent Jesus to be born, grow and die among men, it was so that the radiant and fertile life of the Master would remain. to mark an imperishable path, an indelible track, so that all his children would find the way that leads them to true love, and that complying with his doctrine leads them to the mansion where the Creator awaits them. He knew also that the blood that spoke of purity, of infinite love, upon being shed to the very last drop, would teach humanity to complete the mission that raises them to the promised land with faith in their Creator, whereupon representing their fulfillment they may say, Lord, it is finished. Now I can tell you that it was not the hour of the shedding of my blood on the cross that marked the moment of human redemption. My blood remains here in the present world, alive, fresh, tracing with the bloody mark of my passion, the path of your restitution that will lead you to conquer the dwelling that your Father has promised you. I have told you, I am the source of life. Come and wash your stains so that you may walk free and safe to your Father and Creator. My fountain is that of love. It is inaccessible and infinite. Of that speaks my bloodshed in that time. It signed my word and sealed my doctrine. Now, many centuries distant from those events, I tell you that in spite of Jesus having spilled his blood for all humanity, only those who have followed the path that Jesus came to show you have achieved salvation, while those have persisted in their ignorance and fanaticism, their errors or their sin, are not yet saved. I told you that were I to make myself man 1,000 times, and 1,000 times die on the cross, while humanity does not rise to follow me, it will not have achieved its salvation. It is not my cross which will save you, but your own. I bore mine on my back. On it I died as a man, and in that instant I was in the bosom of the Father. You must imitate me in meekness and love, bearing your cross on your backs with true humility until you reach the end of your mission, so that you too may come to be with your Father. There are none who do not wish to find happiness, and the more lasting the better, because I come to show you a road that leads to the supreme and eternal happiness. Nevertheless, I merely show you the way and leave you to choose that which most pleases you. I ask you, if you wish happiness, why do you not sow it so that you can harvest it later? How few there are who have felt the impulse to render themselves to humanity. The ideas you have of the meaning of life on earth, of what the spirit is, and of what the spiritual value is are mistaken. The majority of believers think that living with a certain rectitude or repenting in the last instant of life of the errors they have made, they have assured themselves of glory for their spirits. That false concept that blinds men does not permit them to persevere throughout their lives in compliance with the law and causes their spirits, when they abandon this world and come to the spiritual mansion, to find themselves in a place where they do not behold the marvels they had imagined, nor feel the supreme happiness to which they think they have a right. Do you know what happens to those beings that felt sure of reaching heaven, but instead find only confusion upon no longer inhabiting the earth, because they no longer have the point of support provided by their physical shell, and being unable to ascend to the heights in which the dwellings of the spiritual light are found? Without realizing it, they create for themselves a world that is neither human nor profoundly spiritual. Then is when the spirits ask, is this the glory? Is this the dwelling fated by God for the spirits after such a long journey on earth? No, says others. This cannot be the bosom of the Lord, where only light, love, and purity may exist. Slowly, through meditation and pain, the spirit comes to understanding. It understands the divine justice, and illuminated by the light of its conscience, judges its past works, and discovers them to have been petty and imperfect, not worthy of the reward he had expected. It is then, with this preparation, humility appears, and a desire to return to the roads abandoned to erase the stains incurred, repair the errors, and earn true merit before the Father. It is necessary to explain these things to humanity, so that they may understand that the material life is an opportunity for men to earn merit for their spirits, merit which elevate them until they deserve a dwelling place of higher spirituality, wherein again they must earn merit in order to avoid becoming stagnant and to continue climbing step by step, for in my Father's house are many mansions. These merits you earn through love, as the eternal love the Father has told you, and thus from step to step, in the ladder of perfection, your spirit shall go learning the path that leads to glory, to true glory, which is the perfection of the Spirit. Truly I tell you that if in this era I had come as a man, your eyes would still have had to see my fresh and bleeding wounds, for the sins of men have not ceased, nor have they wished to redeem themselves in memory of the blood shed by me on Calvary as a proof of my love for humanity. But I have come in spirit so that you may avoid the affront of beholding the work of those who judge and sentence me on earth. All is forgiven, but in every spirit exists something of that which I spilled out for all on the cross. Do not believe that that breath and that blood will be diluted or lost. They represented the spiritual life that I poured forth from that instant to all men. What is more, for reason of the blood that sealed my word and confirmed what I said and did on the earth, men rose up in search of the regeneration of their spirits. My word, my works, and my blood were not, and shall not be in vain. If sometimes it seems to you that my name and my word are almost forgotten, you will see how they arise again, full of life, vigor, and purity, like a seed that, in spite of being constantly embattled, never dies. The blood of Jesus, converted into the light of redemption, continues penetrating spirits at salvation. My spirit is eternally giving salvation and light, continuously penetrating with the rays of my light to where darkness exists. Every moment my divine spirit is spilling, not as human blood, but in essence and spiritual life over all my children. Heaven must be earned. Dominated by the forces of their low passions, men have descended so deeply in their sinfulness that they have lost all hope of salvation. But there is not one who cannot be saved, for the Spirit will arise once it is convinced. The human turmoil will not cease as long as it does not listen to the voice of its conscience, fulfilling my law until the end of its destiny, which is not on earth but in eternity. Those who believe that their existence is absurd and believe that their struggles and sufferings are useless fail to realize that life is the teacher that molds and pain the chisel that perfects. Do not think that I created pain to offer it to you in a cup. Do not think that I have made you fall. Man fell in disobedience by himself, and for that reason he must also rise by his own effort. Neither think that only pain will perfect you. No, you will also come to me by practicing love, for I am love. Pray more with the Spirit than the material, for to save yourself an instant of prayer or a day of love are not sufficient, but rather a life of perseverance, of patience, of elevated works, and compliance with my commandments. For this I have given you great powers and senses. My work is like an ark of salvation that invites all to enter. All who comply with my laws shall not perish. If you guide yourselves by my word, you will be saved. Keep in mind that only what is perfect reaches me. Therefore, your spirit will enter my kingdom only when it has attained perfection. You emerge from me without experience, but you shall return to me adorned with the garment of your merits and virtues. Verily I say to you that the spirits of the just who dwell near God gained the right to occupy that place by their own deeds, not because I gave it to them, I only showed them the way, and at the end of it, I revealed to them the reward. Blessed are those who say to me, Father, you are the way, the light that illuminates it, and the strength for the traveler. You are the voice that indicates the course and encourages us along the journey, and you are also the reward for him who reaches the end. Yes, my children, I am the life and the resurrection of the dead. Today the Father will not ask, who can and who is willing to rescue the human race with their blood? Nor will Jesus answer, Lord, I am the Lamb willing to mark the path of restitution for mankind with my blood. Nor shall I send my word to be made flesh in this era. That era is past for you, and it left its teaching and elevation in your spirit. Now I have opened a new stage in spiritual advancement, in which it shall be you who earn merit. I want you all to be happy, in peace, and inhabiting the light, so that you may come to possess all, not only through my love, but also through your merits, for it is then that your satisfaction and happiness will be complete. I came to show you the beauty of a life higher than the human one. It's me. Where was I? Inspire you to elevated works, to teach you the word that provides abundant love, and proclaim to you the unknown happiness, that which awaits the spirit that has known how to climb the mountain of sacrifice, of faith and love. All of this you should recognize in my teaching, so that at last you may understand it is your works that bring your spirit closer to true happiness. If to go from one continent of the earth to another, you must cross high and low mountains, seas, towns, cities, and countries to reach your journey's destination. Think that to reach the promised land you must travel far, so that in the long journey you gather experience, knowledge development, and the evolution of the Spirit. That shall be the fruit of the tree of life, which you shall finally taste after having struggled and wept so much to reach it. You are the children of the Father of light. Yet if through your weakness you have fallen into the darkness of a life full of trouble, error, and tears, these sorrows shall pass, because you will rise to my voice when I call to you, saying, I am here, illuminating your world and inviting you to scale the mountain upon whose peak you shall find all peace, happiness, and the wealth that in vain you have sought to gather on earth. Each world, every dwelling place, was created so that in it the spirit would evolve and make a step towards their creator, and thus advancing more and more on the road to perfection. Someday arrive white, clean, and molded to the end of its journey, the peak of spiritual perfection, which is to inhabit the kingdom of God. To whom does it seem impossible to come to inhabit the bosom of God? O poor minds that do not know how to reflect, have you already forgotten that you sprung from my bosom, that you once inhabited it? There is nothing strange that all that were born of the source of life return to it in due time. Every spirit, upon being born of me, was pure, yet later in the road many became stained. Nonetheless, all being foreseen by me in a wise, loving, and just way, I went ahead to put all the means necessary for your salvation and regeneration along the road that my children must travel. If that spiritual purity was profaned by many beings, the day will come in which they, purifying themselves of all their faults, reacquire their original purity, and this purification will be very meritorious in my eyes, for their spirit will have achieved these true great and incessant trials of their faith, their love, their faithfulness, and their patience. You all will return along the road of work, struggle, and pain to the kingdom of light, from which you will no longer have to be made flesh in a human body, nor inhabit a material world, for by then your spiritual reach will permit you to make your influence felt and send your light from one world to another.